Hello everyone, it's Ryan Archer at West Ham Fan TV and I'm back with another edition of On The Social. This is the show where you take control and you send in questions for me to answer. Once again, I put out a tweet this morning and a message on Facebook. Got so many questions again, so as like last week, I've had to whittle them down. You know, there was a lot in there that was similar, so let's crack straight on because there's quite a few to go through. Let's start off with Facebook. Eddie Sheeran, if we stay up, do you think next season will be any different to this one given the squad we have? Nah, I think if we don't, well, we have to improve the squad. We have to get rid of a lot of players and we have to bring new players in. Going into next season, I think we was lucky last season with a similar sort of squad. We added well to it, but we got rid of a lot of players. So no, we definitely have to add, because if we went into another Premiership season with this squad, we'd be in exactly the same position and we'd struggle. Moving on, Warwick Betts. If we stay up, what does the board have to do between now and the first match next season to show fans that they want West Ham to succeed and start challenging for Europe? Or is it too late and nothing they can do will be enough? I think, well, the only answer to that is they have to spend. They have to back the manager, whoever it is, whether it's Moyes or a new manager. They've got to back him in the transfer window. They've got to start putting their money where their mouth is. They said that we was going to be challenging for Champions League and all that when we moved to the stadium. That's not always guaranteed, but we need to definitely improve this team. So, yeah, I mean, whether they can build a relationship with fans again, I don't think so. I think it's going to be tough. But, yeah, spending money and bringing in some big name players would go a long way with us fans. Moving on, Warren James Greenfield. What do you make of Brady apologising in the Sun, and should she have sent the fans it first via email? It's a great question. I mean, I read the, I don't buy the Sun newspaper, but I read it yesterday on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, listen, she's come out and she's admitted that they've done wrong. They hold their hands up, but it's a little too late for me. I mean, we said this in a meeting back in November with Karen Brady that they need to come out and hold their hands up, and why leave it till now? Should she have, personally, I think that it would have been better done on the club website and emailed to everyone. But yeah, definitely on the club website. I mean, going to the Sun newspaper, I know she works for the Sun and she's got a column in it, but that ain't going to go down well with fans. So it's a little bit of a PR disaster, that one, which could have been done a lot better. Moving on, Steve Mothersoul. If all the West Ham Fan TV boys had a fight, who would hit the floor first and who would be last man standing? I'm glad I'm answering this one. Well, I'll be the last man standing, of course. No, look, I think Scott would run. Dan would go down first. Graham wouldn't know what was going on. Be me and Nicky left. And I know he's got weak knees, so I'll kick him in the leg and just hope that he goes down, and then I'll be the last man standing. So, yeah, I like that. That's a good question. Moving on, Rob Angus Colburn. Favourite food to ingest at half-time and post-match? I'll be honest, I know I look it, but I don't really eat that much, like, on a match day. Like, away games is different, because obviously you in the services coming home and going there. But yeah, usually I like a couple of drinks. Sometimes if I get into the ground early and I've had a few drinks, I'll probably get a hot dog. But you walk around the London Stadium, there's so much choice now, so it's good. But yeah, if anything, a hot dog, but mainly half-time and post-match is pints, is beers. So yeah, that probably explain this little gut I'm getting. But alright, let's move on. Bobby Simpson, where do you go for a haircut? Some would say the butchers, but no, I'll go Lakeside. There's a shop in Lakeside down Brompton Walk. I think it's called And Cut or Just Cut or something like that. So yeah, they do an half decent job, I think. So yeah, that's where I go. Moving on now, John Edward. Hello, Ryan. Hello, John. What kind of owners do we really want? Is it just about money, or do we need a different kind of leadership structure to take us forward? Yeah, you want someone that's going to come in, if we do get new owners, that are going to pump money in to improve the squad. But you also, it's a different one, isn't it? Because you look at Man City. I mean, their owners, I think, are unbelievable. Not only have they come in and they've improved the squad over the years, but they've also invested in their youth system, their women's team, the whole club. And that's what I'd want. I'd want an owner to come in and not just look at the first team, but look at the whole setup of the club. Obviously, you'd want them to buy the stadium and improve the stadium. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, one day we do get owners like that. Moving on now, Colin O'Toole, James Tompkins, question mark. Would West Ham be in the same position if he had not been sold? Was this Slav's most questionable decision? Listen, I didn't want to see Tompkins go, but at the time, I think it was around 12 million, was a lot of money for him, and it was a good deal. I like Tompkins. He scored yesterday for Crystal Palace. Personally, I didn't want to see him go, but I mean, that was a decision. But we've had a long time since he's gone to improve this squad, so there's a lot of other positions as well that we've sold and we've never really improved on them. Moving on now to Twitter, @JohnT_T. Would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands? I think I'd rather have feet for hands, because if it all got on top of me and I had to run, I'd have 4 feet and I'd run like an horse or a dog or something, so I'd get extra speed. He's also put in here, and can you try and say George Hagiodakis? I really hope that don't mean something rude. I don't know if I'm being set up there, but George Hagiodakis. I hope I said it right, and that was a good question. To say it different, definitely FIFA. I don't know. I could do a whole special on that one. Moving on to @EnigmaUK_Mike. Who would win a Royal Rumble style fight out of all Premiership managers? My money's on Dyche. Big Sam. I think Big Sam will come down. Wenger wouldn't know what was going on. He wouldn't see anything, so he'd just go. Eddie Howe looks a little bit. He looks sneaky. He looks like he'd attack you from behind. But yeah, Dyche is a good shout. Yeah, I'd go for Big Sam. Big Sam and Dyche, the last two. That'd be interesting to watch something like that. Moving on, G Murphy 1. Do you think Hart will be dropped for the Southampton match? It's a tough one, isn't it? For me, Adrian and Hart, they've both been a bit poor. Especially Adrian over the last few games, and Hart coming back against Burnley. I did feel a bit sorry for him, but listen, he's got to do better than that. Do I think he'll be dropped for Southampton? It depends how they got on in Miami. I think Moyes will make that decision. That's what he's paid to do. Personally, I would. It's hard. No, I'd go for Adrian. I don't know. I think I'd go put Adrian back in goal for the Southampton match. Moving on, @90s_team. Do you think the seats will get closer to the pitch, and why do you think Brady feels they have already delivered on these retractable seating promises when we're miles away at the moment? I mean, I know they're looking to get an architect in to move the seating closer. Whether they can do it, I don't know. I think just the whole way the stadium has been sold and what we've actually got was wrong. It's all lies from the beginning, and the only way I can see that ever becoming a football stadium is if they own it and they knock half of it down and they bring it in, build it in, make it more of a football stadium. Because at the moment, it's definitely not a football stadium. We know it. But listen, at the moment, it's our home, and we've got to turn it into a little fortress for these last 8 games. It's been hard to generate an atmosphere at that ground, but you know, these last 8 games, last 5 at home, they're gonna need us big time. Moving on, @George Dignam 31. Do we have enough quality and experience in the team to stay up? Yes, we do. We have enough quality. You look at Hernandez, Arnautovic, Lanzini, Antonio, and experience. You've got Mark Noble. He's been through relegations before. He's been through survivals before. He's been through promotions. So you've got to look at your big players. You've got to look at Ginger Pele. You know, Zabaleta, he's won the Premier League. Evra, whether he starts, he's won the Premier League. Joe Hart, if he starts, he's a Premier League winner. Even if they don't start, their experience in the changing room will be massive for the players going forward. So, yeah, answer to that, yeah, I think we do. Moving on, at _Ems_DJ. Do you think we should bring more of the youth players, Cullen, Rice, Hugo, on for Southampton and Stoke games? Personally, no, because I don't think it's fair, especially with Cullen and Hugo. I mean, Rice has had a bit of first team experience, but for me, chucking them, putting pressure on them in big games, it's not fair on them. They should be getting experience when we're safe. You know, to chuck them into big games like that, to put the amount of pressure on them. If one of them makes a mistake, you know, it could be, they could get murdered on social media. You know, it's not fair on them. I think it's, once again, the big players have got to step up. The Chiates, the Lanzinis, Noble, all them type of players, you know, they need to start stepping up. So, yeah, that's a good question. Moving on, at Jamie_Jill. What 3 teams do you think will get relegated this season? In my opinion, it's West Brom, Stoke and Huddersfield. I agree with that. I think I said this, them 3 on the last on the social. I think West Brom, for me, yesterday losing at Bournemouth was the final nail in their coffin. Huddersfield are on a slide now. Stoke as well, another defeat at home to Everton. It's going to come down to, you know, they've got some big games coming up, including against us. So it's going to be massive next 4 games for every club down there, because, you know, I think it's going to start unravelling now who will go down, and fingers crossed, you know, I hope it's not us, but we've got a lot of work to do to get ourselves out. Moving on, at Mark Sherman. Should we now come together for the team and let them know that we are right behind them by making as loud as noise as we can? Definitely, Mark. 100%, mate. That game against Southampton, I think I see ex-West Ham employee and the West Ham Way radio show talk about wearing retro colours or claret and blue on the day to make it, you know, we need to get behind the team. Whatever people want to do before the game, protesting or marches or whatever, when we get in that stadium, as we always do. I mean, the Burnley game was, you know, it was, we haven't seen that for years at West Ham, so we've always been behind the team home and away. But no, we definitely need to get behind the team for full 90 minutes, even if we go 1-0 down. You know, let's not get on their backs. Let's definitely not pitch invade, but let's definitely get behind them 110%, singing non-stop. You know, let's just show. Let's just forget the ball for 90 minutes. Let's just get behind the boys, because they need us. They need us big time. Moving on, at Samantha_G06. Hello, Sam. You're right. Are we staying up? Would like to hear your thoughts on remaining positive. Yeah, definitely. I think we will stay up, Sam. 100%. I think, you know, we'll dig out some points from games that we don't feel we can get points. Yeah, I think, you know, Southampton and Stoke are massive games now, massive games at home. We've been saying that all season, but these 2, if we win them 2, I think we'll stay up. Moving on, at Chav Corner, can Arnie do a Tevez and pull off another great escape? Listen, Arnautovic is a massive player for us. He's proved it over the last few weeks, but it's not only about him. You know, you go back, you're saying Tevez. I mean, that season, there was Matty Everton, Zamora, you know, Rob Green, James Conner, they all pitched in, you know, and they saved up. But Tevez gets the headlines for obviously the goals he scored. But listen, Arnautovic is a massive player for us. He will score. He'll probably be a match winner for us in one of these games. But it's about the other players around him, Lanzini, Hernandez. You know, they're the sort of players as well. They're game changers and match winners. So they all need to pull together. But yeah, no, definitely. So Arnautovic will be a massive for us in these last few games. Moving on, at Youngie 2001. After what happened in the Burnley game, do you think a march should go ahead now? No, I don't think. Listen, there's protests and there's other marches planned by other groups and things like that for the Southampton game. But me personally, I just feel that whatever's going to happen should happen outside the stadium, before and after if you want. But for the 90 minutes inside the stadium, there can't be scenes like there was against Burnley, because if there is, we won't be seeing no more home games this season. They'll give us behind closed doors games, and it's a shame. You know, why should people that ain't there to protest and ain't there to march and are just there to back the team, why should they be banned from watching the team? You know, so yeah, so I'll move on. Right, moving on. At KJ059, can the walk down to the Olympic Stadium from the top, brackets JL store, John Lewis store, have traders selling to create a Green Street experience as it's soulless now? Ken, this was a massive thing that we spoke about in these meetings with Brady, about people having stalls, either whether it's sweets, shirts, flags, scarves, and we feel that it would bring a lot back to a matchday experience for West Ham fans at the London Stadium, to make it feel a little, it'll never be home, but to make it feel a little bit more like home. And it is something that they're definitely looking into, and they was willing to work with, you know. So let's hope that over the next season that you will start seeing stalls going up, just to make it feel, because I do miss, you know, I miss people like Olas, Overland and Sea, and you know, you've got the Rib Man there now, and you know, it's just things like that. You know, they used to walk down Green Street and you'd see all the scarf sellers and the sweet sellers and the hot dog stalls and everything, you know, and you knew it was a match day. So listen, let's hope that they can sort that out, because I think it'll add a lot to the London Stadium. Moving on now, at Rob_Colburn, top 3 alcoholic beverages. Top 3. I love a beer, obviously post-match pint. Favourite beer is, I love a Corona, but I love a San Miguel, but Jack Daniels and Coke. I love a JD. Vodka and Coke as well. I love anything. I hate tequila, can't stand it. Bad experience when I went to Mexico once. But yeah, I'd say that. Beer, JD and vodka. Right, moving on. At Rob Herditch, would you rather shag a goat and no one ever know, or not shag a goat but everyone think you did? Is there any right way to answer this? I wouldn't want everyone thinking I shag a goat. So if I could do it on the sly, just, you know, no kissing involved, it don't count. Yeah, I don't know, that's a difficult one. Shagging a goat though, that's... Oh, yeah, I'd shag the goat, because I wouldn't want everyone, I wouldn't want to walk out London Stadium and everyone thinking that I shagged the goat. So if they didn't know about it, it was a one-off, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, Rob. At GH90WHU, back in your Sunday League days, what is the funniest moment you can remember? I'll be honest, I played Sunday League when I was younger, but growing up I played a lot of Saturday football. There's so many, because me, Graham, Scott and Nicky all played for the same club, Newham United. But there's loads of funny memories. One I would say was probably my last game for Newham. I was captain in the cup final, which we won. And afterwards, you know, people that have been in changing rooms, I don't know how to, this is going to sound wrong, people that have been in changing rooms know that the lads have a bit of banter in the change room, and there's a bit of bonding going on. We used to have a lot of bonding sessions at Newham United, with a lot of Ray Docs. This ain't sounding good, is it? But we won the cup final. Me in the shower with the team, took the trophy, and obviously stark naked. All I had on was a captain armband. Now, bearing in mind, Nicky was injured, he didn't play at the time, but he was actually manager for our team. And he didn't play, but we're all in the shower, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Nicky comes running in, stark bollock naked, and just joins in the shower. And it was like one of them moments that you want to get out of your head, but you don't, because it's great times. I miss playing football, and I miss that team spirit, and the club at the time, the team we had was unbelievable. And to finish, because I wasn't captain, I was only captain because it was my last game, and it was unbelievable for me, and I wish I could go back to them days, because they were some of the best times of my life, honestly. Moving on now, at George Seldrick, what do you think about the last 10% of tickets going on general sale for away games? I personally think it's a good opportunity for fans with less points to build them up a bit bit more to experience the better stadiums. Yeah, I think that was a trial. I don't think it's actually going on no more, but it seemed to work well. Whether they're going to bring that in next season, I agree. I think that some should be held back for general sale because it's hard for people to build up points because you never get tickets. One thing that winds me up is when you get people that only want to go to the London derbies and things like that. I mean, you got people that have built their points up going to the far away games, you know. But no, I think 10% is a good number. It gives people a chance to go to these away games because for me, the away games are where it's at. It's the best, you know, win, lose or draw, being on the road with your mates, having a few beers, being that little pocket in the stadium, out singing them. The home crowd is unbelievable, and we haven't seen many great away days this year, but hopefully next season we do and we get back to winning ways, winning a lot more on the away games. My favourite away game this season was probably Huddersfield away. We ain't won many, but it was just a great day out and great atmosphere from both sets of fans. Moving on now, at Woodcock 277, as I understand it, Karen Brady is an employee of the club. Given she had the responsibility to move us to the London/Olympic Stadium, which to date has been an abject failure, shouldn't she do the decent thing and resign? I think the fans would respond very positively. Yeah, I mean, if Karen Brady resigned tomorrow, I think there'd be a lot of happy people at West Ham. I think people see her as a lot of the cause of this. But, you know, obviously, look, I've been in meetings with Karen Brady and I think she gets a lot of stick for stuff that she doesn't deserve. Things that Golden Sullivan have control over. But obviously, she's the easy target. But she doesn't help herself, you know, with the PR stuff that she does, like yesterday in the Sun newspaper. So yeah, I think if listen, we all want the ball to go. There's no hiding it. We want changes now. But yeah, if Karen Brady was to resign from the club tomorrow, I think there'd be a lot of happy people at West Ham. Moving on now. No, I think that's it. That's it for all the questions. So yeah, no, listen. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. As I said, we did get quite a few. I think there was another 60 on there today. It's good that we get these questions. But yeah, no, there's some interesting ones in there, some funny ones, mixed it up a bit. But look, we've got another week off now because of the national break next week. Great. But then we come back, we've got that massive game against Southampton. So, listen, whatever's going to happen on the day, protesting or whatever, let's just get in that stadium and let's just back the boys because they need us. You know, it's been tough for all of us over especially the last few months, the last couple of weeks, the results, Swansea and Burnley, you know, 2 results there that really dented us, you know, dented our confidence, and you see what happened at the Burnley game at home. But look, I'm confident we stay up. I am. It's going to be a massive, massive games coming up. It's 8 cup finals now, so let's get behind the boys, get a bit positive. Listen, as for on the social going forward, as you know, I've taken over from Graham doing this. I love it. I'm going to try to get some guests on to mix it up a bit, and if we ever get the chance to interview ex-players, I will be doing an on the social with them as well. So, but I'll tweet that out nearer the time. It'd be good to get their views on your questions as well. So look, thank you so much for watching this week's On The Social. As always, leave your comments below. Let me know your thoughts on my answers. And yeah, I'll leave that there. I'm Ryan Archer at West Ham Fan TV. Thank you so much for watching this edition of On The Social. Come on, you Irons.